today's video is about the history of life, especially about the inheritance molecule. For this short story, we will need a main character that will be named Mr. DNA. That it's an actual DNA but with face, legs and arms to make it more familiar and easy to recognize. So, the big drama of this story is about Mr. DNA trying to be recognized and known by the world. And the fact that this is impossible because humans can't see him at first sight makes his emotions go down. So down that he starts doubting about his existence too. Poor Mr. DNA. Until in 1820, a man started playing with him by making some experiments with peatlands and making discoveries about the inheritance of a generation of peatlands that makes to the next generation of peatlands. This man is called Gregor Mendel. And although this made Mr. DNA happy, it wasn't enough, because actually more than 100 years passed to see Mr. DNA again. It is now 1928, and Mr. DNA is discovered somehow accidentally again by Frederick Griffith in a Griffith experiment while trying to develop a vaccine for pneumonia. With this second discovery, Mr. DNA started to feel better because now he knows another human can see him. 2 decades passed to see Mr. DNA again. Now, Oswald Avery and Maclean McCarthy discovered that chromosomes on our genes are made out of DNA, so basically it is where they somehow live. So now things are getting serious to Mr. DNA because now some experiments are being made with him. Morris Wilkins, Francis Crick, and Jim Watson unzip Mr. DNA to see his molecular structure, making a new branch of science called genetic molecular biology. Again, the same scientists that discovered where Mr. DNA somehow lived determined in the late 50s that genes are responsible of the biological heredity. Now, what Gregor Mendel discovered in the 19th century, it's actually true. Mr. DNA determined the heredity of living things. Now, Mr. DNA is no longer a negative molecular structure. He is now an important molecular structure, probably the most important in all our body. In 1966, the genetic code of Mr. DNA was finally cracked by 2 German scientists who demonstrated the sequence of 3 nucleotide bases, cytosine, thymine, and guanine. Now, Mr. DNA has a special code that can be read, but not as easy as the code in our daily products. In 1997, the first use of Mr. DNA takes place by cloning. Scientists in Scotland discovered that adult cells can reprogram themselves into a new exact being, giving us as a result 2 exact sheep, Dolly the sheep. Finally, Mr. DNA takes place, and it takes place in the species that discovered it, humans, in the form of a great human genome. This human genome is a global project to figure out the sequences of chemical bases that make up us. It is expected to provide a greater understanding of how life works. Now, some words of our friend Mr. DNA.
I am DNA. I live in all your body. And thanks to me, you are what you are. So take care of yourself. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.